bro, like, fuck, I was up late last night, and I was reading some of the posts about myself, obviously, and some people are fucking pissed. Ooh. Like, I feel like I made people more mad today than I have in probably like a month. Which is, that's a lot. Probably even 6 months, maybe. Nah. 3 months, maybe 3 months. I told Kaisi, I told her today, I was like, if I have one more situation, I'm going to begin a villain arc. I am one controversy away from a villain arc. The artist comment? Yeah, like, I didn't even think that was a big deal, right? I mean, I didn't. I thought everybody knew that. I did. I thought everybody knew that what I was saying was true. Apparently not. Right? Like, because, so anyway, so there's a tweet. Yeah, I gotta go back, right? And so this dude goes and posts a tweet about me. He says actual brain dead. And so let me go back, look at this. So, unbox people. So this dude is not happy. Let me see if I can find where he went and they said this. And so, for some record, Power World versus Pokemon discussion. But I know something is wrong. Play whatever you want to play, but don't disrespect the artist. Says to be sure. So anyway, this dude is obviously, he tweeted that he called me the N-word and he said I was stupid, but I guess he must have deleted that one. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, so this is a big situation today, right? A big situation with a lot of people mad. Like, we're talking about 19.7 million views on this fucking tweet. Like, we're talking about 5 million views on this one. Like, almost 20 million people in the last 24 hours, less than that, have seen this fucking post. This shit has blown up. A lot of people are watching it. And there's a lot of people that have messaged me that are like, oh, I'm so sorry you're, you know, so many people are angry at you. What the fuck? What? Guys, of course nobody likes for people to tell them that they're wrong. But this doesn't fucking matter. It's a fucking tweet. Who cares? Chill out. Everything's fucking fine. Yeah, I got food. I went to Shake Shack. It was really nice. Spent some time with my dad. Like, this is not, like, guys, I don't need to be protected. I don't need to, everything's fine, okay? I'm good. So we're going to watch this first. And also, like, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I said this on a public platform. Now, this dipshit did cut it a little bit out of context, but that's what people do. That's what happens. Fuck. I mean, that's the way it is. And so, anyway, people are going to talk about it. Like, I wouldn't have said it. I didn't want people to hear it. So let's go ahead. We're going to watch the clip. We're going to watch the clip. Cut things out of context. It's not that much out of context. It's a little bit, it makes it sound more aggro than it was. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's a bit different. Damn, the quality. Yeah. This is a 2016 webcam quality. All right, here we go. All right, so to expect me to draw a moral line, I have to perceive a difference that I consider substantial. And I do not consider the difference substantial. I was talking about the difference between procedural generation and AI generation, like generative AI. I feel like they both functionally do the same thing, and I don't see there being a large moral difference between the two things. That's what I was talking about. And I also talked about it in the context of people copying. So, like, for example, like, you saw, like, the parallels between, like, the Pokemon and the Dragon Quest and, you know, Pokemon and Digimon. Like, I don't view there to be, like, a large moral difference between an artist using other art as inspiration or to basically create something that's another version of what the original artist made. I don't view that as a tremendously morally different thing versus generative AI creating an aggregate of art by using a million pictures. I don't feel like these are that different. And I haven't read an argument that makes me believe that I'm wrong. I'm open to reading one, but I haven't found it yet.
original art versus inspirational art. I don't care about that because I don't believe original art generally exists. I think that almost all art is built off of other art. And that doesn't take away from it. It builds on it. It makes it more special. It makes it better. Maybe not better, but sometimes it adds texture to it. All art is derivative. Yes, and I don't think that's not a bad thing. Anyway, so that's what I was talking about in the clip. We'll keep going. Do you guys? No. Right. No. And that's really what matters. I don't think a lot of people do. And the truth is that I don't think that society at large sees a large difference. The reason why I don't think that people see a large difference is that I've never seen a large-scale consumer shift to where consumers are purchasing something that is more inconvenient or more expensive because of the way that it's produced. Now, some people do this. I'm not arguing that nobody does this. But the biggest companies in the world are oftentimes the most immoral ones. And I think that there's a reason for that. It's because people don't really care where their products come from. Like, nobody really cares about Amazon workers pissing in bottles. You care about it, but would you want to pay twice as much for Amazon Prime to fix it? No, probably not. And the same thing's true with phone batteries. The same thing is true with electronic car batteries. The same thing is true with clothes. And everybody just forgoes morality to participate in these things. And I do not believe this is a you criticize society, but yet you exist in society. How interesting, right? That meme? I don't think that it's like that. And also, I think that that's very valid. That's an extremely valid thing to say. If you want to hold other people to a standard, you should expect other people to hold you to that standard that you are trying to hold them to. Why does everybody else have to carry your flag? And so that's my point. And so I don't think that consumers really care about this in a general sense. Are there consumers that care about this? Of course. Is there a market for them? Of course. Is it infinitesimally smaller than the market for consumers that just want to consume the cheapest, best thing? Of course. It was made with AI. I'm completely okay with that because it was fun.
The evidence
It
is
doesn't
that
matter. Nobody really cares
the
about
lead
this.
developer has been very positive about AI in the past and made an AI game
We're gonna play
called
this, by the way.
AI Art Imposter that lets
Yeah.
an AI artist draw a picture.
Yeah.
And so that was like one of the
Yeah,
games.
we're gonna be playing this this week.
Yes, just generally has been much more positive about some of the benefits of AI rather than
Yeah, basically people accuse the CEO of the company that made Pow World of using AI to make Pow World because he liked AI. So they basically just made up an accusation and are just running with it. And I heard recently that the person who originally made the accusation has apologized.
than what is the normal sentiment amongst artists and you know, I guess general Twitter population, which is that you know, AI is bad and it takes jobs from people.
Well, AI and the sentiment from artists. This is the part that's going to make people mad. Opinions don't matter. It just doesn't matter because what matters is the opinion of the people that are buying the product. Yes. Like, it doesn't, like, your opinion on it, like, just because you do it doesn't, like, nobody cares. Like, it's not relevant. It's like whenever one of these, like, you know, really well-respected and really respectable directors talks about how bad Marvel is. Shut up, old man. Shut up. I like watching the Thor movie. It was cool. So people really didn't like that clip. And I want to say really quickly that I stand behind what I said 100%. And I'm right. And the emotional outbursts of man-children on Twitter over the next day or two will subside, logic will prevail, reason will wiggle its way in, and people will see the truth of what I said. And the best thing about it is that I can prove it. And that's the good thing about the truth, is that I don't have to bully people off. Like, I can read arguments from people that disagree with me, and I can prove them wrong. These people can't prove me wrong. They can post a picture of my room and say my room is dirty and so I'm wrong. Sure, you can do that, but I'm still right. You can say I'm a loser, you can say I'm ugly, you can say I fell off, you can say anything that you want. But that doesn't change the truth. And that's the best thing about it, is that it doesn't matter how mad you get. It still doesn't matter. It still doesn't change anything. And so I want to talk a little bit about what I said again, and I'm going to go through it. Is that T1, Michaela? I guess it is. Let me go back. I'm going to read this real quick. The people that are buying product. That's right. It doesn't, like, your opinion on it, like, just because you do it doesn't, like, nobody cares. That's right. And I want to extrapolate this. So almost all art has relatively no intrinsic value. Like, if you're at a, if you are stranded on an island, would you rather have a cooler full of food, or would you rather have a, would you rather have the Mona Lisa? And I think that that's what makes art special, is the fact that it has value, but the value is not intrinsic. Like, a hammer has value. You can use a hammer to accomplish a goal. A nail has value. You can use a nail to hold something in place. And so in general, and this isn't true all the time, okay? But I'm making a general statement that's not always true, okay? So just please hold your exceptions. Please. I know you have an exception that you want to put out there and try to pretend like you're smart. I know you have an exception. I do too. But I'm talking about in a general sense. Art does not have a functional value. A Picasso painting is not going to do anything. But it will have value to some people. And that value is subjective. And the fact that the value is subjective proves my point. And I can give you another example of people that are making art that nobody cares about. Now, you can scroll down on this tweet, and most of the people that are being very angry are people that are making art that nobody cares about. Or you can go over to Twitch, and you can go down to, let's go down to, I don't know, World of Warcraft, and let's scroll all the way down. And you're going to find people that have 1, 2, 0 viewers, and they're streaming the same as everybody else is. But nobody cares about them, and it doesn't really matter that they're streaming. There's no value to this stream. They're not going to make any money. Now, maybe they will in the future. But whenever they do in the future, the reason for that will be because people see value in them. That's because the artist is empowered by the people that consume their content. And it doesn't matter if it's a picture, it doesn't matter if it's a video, a stream, or anything. These things have value because other people say they do. Art is fundamentally subjective. I think that if you think it's art, it's art. That's where it comes from. The reason why that's true is the same essence of the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. So whenever I say an artist's opinion doesn't matter on their art, it's because whenever an artist says this is worth $50 to me and somebody else says no, it's not, the artist can still try to charge $50 for it, but nobody has to buy it because that value is decided by the customer. That's the way it works, is whenever you go to market with a product, you have to meet the customer's demand. And it doesn't matter about what you think the world should be. It doesn't matter about how you view ethics in art. It doesn't matter about how you think trade should be. It doesn't matter about whether you're a capitalist or not. None of these things matter. The only thing fundamentally that matters is if what you are doing is perceived to have value in the eyes of the public. And not the public, excuse me, in the eyes of the person you're selling it to. And the truth of that is proven every single day. It's proven every single day whenever somebody makes a video game and nobody buys it. It's proven whenever Riot shuts down Riot Forge because nobody bought the games. Do you want to know why a lot of those people got fired? It's because of you, it's because of you, and it's because of me. And the reason why is because we didn't buy and support those games because we didn't care about them. And because we didn't care about them, they didn't make any money, and they got fucking fired. And that's the way the world works. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people that are angry because I'm saying this. Don't shoot the messenger. Or do. That's fine. But the reality is that I'm still not wrong. And this reality will be proven every single second of every day until the end of time. And so I don't want to sit down and this is why it doesn't bother me that a lot of people are unhappy about this, because I know the truth of what I'm saying, and everybody else will sooner or later, whether they want to or not. And I'd like to go and show some of the other the posts that people have made, respond to some of the criticism, and look at what people are saying. Not wrong is not always 100% correct. The angle you attack it from might change the truth. I have to say, too, that I thought a lot today about, is the position and the approach that I take to communicating so aggro that it ends up actually, like, hurting my goals? Like, am I being too much of an asshole? Is it basically, am I, like... Because a lot of people say, you're right, but I hate you, right? Basically. And so it's like, is this an effective tool for me? Like, am I communicating in the most effective way? And I don't know the answer to that yet. I'm not sure, but I think about that. I don't think that I'm wrong in what I said, but maybe if I said it in a different way, more people it would have resonated with more people. But in another way, I'm saying it, and now a lot of people are mad, and more people are addressing it. So I don't think that it's really like I'm right and, you know, they're wrong or whatever, but I think about this. Because what do I fundamentally do? I fundamentally, like, what I do is I communicate to people. And so I think about, you know, is my mode of communication actually becoming counterproductive? I don't think so, but I do think about this. Effective entertaining. I think that it depends on what your goals are. So yeah, tone does matter. It does matter. And so I think to myself, am I harming my goals by not approaching it in a way that's effective? Because, like, again, I don't really care about the way that I say it. I care about communicating the idea. And so if I'm communicating an idea that's very aggro and it's causing people to not agree with me or not like me because of that, am I in the wrong? Maybe not factually, but it's not about the facts at that point. And so I think about the effect of what I'm saying. And I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about. I'll be thinking about that a lot. So anyway, I do want to throw those people a little bit of a bone because, of course, I think about stuff like that. Anyway, probably depends on what your goals are. Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, there were a lot of people that obviously retweeted this. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go through. I liked a lot of the posts, and I'm going to just look at all of them here. And so I guess we'll start at the bottom. Okay. I think that should be everything. Okay, good. Hey, you, JK, I love you. Yeah, no, it's okay. As an artist, most artists practice AI. They don't directly rip. And neither did Pal World. Well, that's for Nintendo to decide, and they can figure that out in court. I personally think that Pal World probably did rip off things from Nintendo directly. I do think so, and I'm going to keep playing the game. That doesn't affect my opinion of the game, but I do think that I think that they did it. From what I've seen. Like, I don't know. It's too close, man. Like, especially, like, the models. Like, it's too close. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But, like, I'm not the lawyer. I don't need to be, like, you know, 100%, you know, fucking right about this, or this isn't an illegal argument. I'm just saying, like, this is my vibe check as a person who makes YouTube videos. Okay? Like, this is a vibe check. So anyway, yeah, trick shot. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I saw that. And anyway, so we'll go ahead and we're going to look at this here. And if you're looking at this from a strictly capitalistic viewpoint, you're not wrong. Now, this is probably the most popular response to the tweet that I made. And I'm going to go ahead and read what this person said. If you're strictly from a capitalist perspective, you're not wrong. I think many, including myself, would argue that we have a good moral obligation to look after the ones making said products. If we never care about the artist, the art stops and nobody wins. And I respond back to this. I say, if many such as yourself care about the moral obligation, why is it that the biggest companies are often the most immoral? And my point is that there are oftentimes people that think that because they get 6,000 likes or 12,000 likes or 40,000 likes on Twitter, then somehow this means that this is what most people think. It's not. I think that it's great to look at sentiment, but sentiment is never better than data. And the data says that it's not true. Of games like Pow World, give me a second. I'm pulling this up. Of games like Pow World hitting 2 million concurrent players. That's right. So that's the facts. And so 1 million right now, yes, and that's the reality. Now, 6,000 people liking a tweet doesn't really matter. And if we didn't have this data, then we'd be having a debate. But we don't need to have a debate because the data proves the truth. And it will prove it over and over and over again. Just like it did with sweatshops, just like it did with lithium batteries, and just like it's doing right now with AI. And in the future, it will be something that we can't even imagine that will be doing the same thing. And so why is the biggest companies often the most moral? Because we live under capitalism, money is greater than morals. This person believes that bad systems and abuse was invented by capitalism. This is not true. So let me go ahead and give you an example. So before capitalism, we had monarchies and we had things like that. What do you think would happen if an artist painted a picture of the king who made the king look fat? Well, then they'd just be dead. And that's the way that it works. There's never been a better system for people to express themselves than Western capitalistic culture. This is the greatest mode of expression that we've ever had in the history of humanity. Does that mean that we can't do better? No, it doesn't. But I am not going to look at any other system that's been tried in the past and say that let's go back to that. Absolutely not. It's actually true. It's caricatural view of history. Plenty of caricatures existed in the newspaper during French monarchy, even during Louis the 14th. I'm sure that there are exceptions. But do you really want to make the argument that inside of a monarchy, people have more autonomy to be able to control their own wealth? What kind of argument are you making? Do you really think that the king and the people that were running France at the time were moral? Do you think that they were good people? Do you think that they treated artists and people that were involved with them in a good way? No. These people were brutal animals, the same as everybody else was. Yeah, they wouldn't have had the revolution if that wasn't the case. You're mistaken if you think capitalism didn't exist within a monarchy. Well, at a certain point, you get to the, like, what do you mean by capitalism? Do you mean the ownership of private property? Do you mean a free market? What do you mean by capitalism? I think you should define your idea more clearly, and then we can talk about it. But anyway, so yeah. Basically, somebody says money over morals. This is true everywhere. Like, if you go to countries right now that aren't capitalistic, like North Korea? Do you think North Korea is prioritizing morals? No, I don't think they are. It's such an insane thing to say. I can't imagine that people believe this. Dude, how are you going to pick North Korea? Because it's the worst example. And it is the example that is the like, for example, like China is capitalistic in a lot of ways now, right? So like, can I really use China? I don't think I can. And also China exists within a global market, which is also capitalistic. So that's why I chose not to use China or a Middle Eastern country. I used North Korea for a specific reason. So yeah. And try Cuba. I don't know enough about Cuba to use that as an example, to be honest with you. So, I'll give you his response below that. I need to break it to you. Communism isn't some moralistic paradise. Simply study history. Communism is different in every country, but yeah, it isn't a moralistic paradise, but it's better than capitalism. Communism is better than capitalism. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I really don't think so. Cuba's blocked by the U.S.? Yeah, exactly. And so that's why, like, it's very hard to say, like, what Cuba's economy is or isn't. Yeah, this is insane. Like, I think that at the point where a person makes an argument that communism is better than capitalism, like, is it okay to just disregard everything they're saying? Because I would say I think that it kind of is. Yeah, like, that's... Okay, now we'll go ahead and move on. So, yeah. And anyway, Stalin killed more than anyone. Well, the reality of it is that Stalin killed more people than anyone, not because of capitalism or communism. He did it because he's a terrible person. And terrible people and terrible actions occur outside Mao. Yeah, Mao did the same thing. He's also a terrible person. So, of course that's the case. Absolutely. But, like, I don't think that this is... I don't think that them doing that... Like, countries will do that. I guarantee you countries have done that weren't communist. There have been so many genocides over the course of history that communism does not have a monopoly on genocides. Everybody's had their turn to have a little bit of genocide. Let's be real. So anyway, now on that scale, you're right. Yeah, those were two of the biggest ones. But sure. So yeah, anyway, that's what one person said. And that's the point. And again, right? And I find this to be kind of ironic because even whenever this person... We are under capitalism. So if I make an argument that under capitalism, money is greater than morals, and then this person is arguing against me, well, he says you're not wrong. I'm not wrong. Okay, well, then there we go. I'm not really in the business anymore of trying to change reality. I don't want to change the world. Well, I do in a way, but I think that in order to change the world, you have to acknowledge what it is. And I think that so many people have intellectualized reality, they're not even a part of it anymore. They've done this so much. There's so many levels of abstraction away from just the simple truths of reality that they don't even live in the same world that you do. And that's the problem. Now, I'm not talking about whether something is good or bad. What I enjoy doing is being able to see what is and then be able to predict what will happen because of that and how things will go. I enjoy that. I like that. That's what I like to do. People living in their own little echo chambers. Oh, that's always the case, right? So, there are no genocides since 1945, though. Really? That's crazy. I didn't know that. It's not a dichotomy, and you're arguing against something nobody suggested. Give me 1 second. Is this somebody who's arguing? What is this? Wait, no, they didn't bring up communism. Well, I don't know. I think that if you're suggesting that capitalism is bad, it would imply that you're bringing up other modes of like other economic systems, right? Now, you're right that the person put words in their mouth. Yeah, the person puts words in their mouth. Yeah, they never mentioned communism. You're correct about that. First, opposing alternative to capitalism, all they're saying is pure capitalistic priorities prioritizes money over morals. Sure, yeah. And it's not the economy you're arguing against, so nobody suggested that. Yeah, sure. But what I am saying is that pure capitalism is not also a good thing either. I don't think anybody thinks that pure capitalism is good. And of course we don't think that. That's why we have socialist systems like Social Security. Nobody thinks this. A lot of people do. Well, a lot of people don't think about it in the first place, so it's not really worth taking that into consideration. So yeah, not bad chatter. No, this is not. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, but no, he's definitely right that nobody brought that up. Somebody put words in his mouth. So yeah. And somebody else said this, and artists' opinions don't matter. What matters is the opinion of people buying the product. And this is another person who was unhappy about what I said. And this is, of course, somebody who is an illustrator. They make art. And they sell commissions. People like their art. The fact that they exist proves my point. You are selling commissions because the free market allows that to happen because people see value in your work. You wouldn't be able to sell commissions if people didn't like it. That's the way it works. But isn't your argument about allowing theft of art and an example of something that should arguably be prevented using controls on capitalism? As I said before, I don't really believe using generative AI is theft. I don't really think so. Now, if you're using generative AI to recreate something, like, you know, for example, like you're trying to make the exact same thing and pass it off as if it was the original, then yeah, sure, that's theft. Of course. But I'm talking about, like, if you use a tool like, I don't know, Stable Diffusion or something like that, and that tool generates an image, I don't think that that image is theft from other images. And if you think that it is theft, then I think that there is not a tremendous moral difference between somebody using other art as inspiration, as everybody does, and somebody using an aggregate tool that puts together pixels that makes a picture. I don't view these as a tremendously morally different thing. I don't. And I have not read an argument so far that convinces me that I'm wrong. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. And also, we'll go even farther. The use of AI is not necessarily theft. Even if you believe that AI being trained by other tools is actually, by other pictures that you don't own, is theft. Because there are plenty of people, and I'll give you two different examples, Amarath and Susu, who do OnlyFans content, who have an AI bot that can generate nudes of them for people that try to talk to them. Is that theft? Well, no, because they trained the bot with their own content. So whenever you're saying AI and generative AI, you're painting with such a wide brush that you're also including things that don't necessarily fall into that category. Not every single AI tool that's ever existed has been trained with things that are not that thing. Paying for fake nudes is wild. Wrong, those models stole images. How do you know how, you don't know how the tech works? How did they steal images?